He's going to score his 7th try of the tournament. Ryan Habana is going to become the Rugby World Cup's top try scorer.
My earliest memories of getting into rugby's got to span back to the 1995 Rugby World Cup in South Africa. Coming out of an apartheid system into a fairly new democratic environment. I was one of the fortunate few 60-odd thousand sitting in Ellis Park that day when Nelson Mandela, wearing that number 6 Springbok jersey, handed Francois Pienaar the cup. Lit an inspiration in a 12-year-old boy that all of a sudden I wanted to play rugby, and getting to play a game where I started off in the under-14 G side, so like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It wasn't like this perfect fairy tale start, but I was now getting to do something that I was inspired to do just a year prior, and just know the power that it had, that if you do get there one day, if you do work hard, sacrifice and dedicate yourself, the opportunity to be inspirational was literally there to be told. My mother worked in the education department in South Africa, and there was much emphasis laid on how important education was. So values of humility were brought in from a very young age of, we will support you in what you're going to do, but when you do it, you're going to have to do it 110%. I'll never forget actually getting my first ever money from rugby, and as a 16-year-old, I was like, I'm a millionaire. And I'll never forget, I think I bought like a Whitney Houston Bodyguard CD and 3 other CDs, and then like spoiled my brother and my sister. And I was like, this is incredible. And all of a sudden, I'm getting the salary of a CEO at 23 years old. And no one tells you how to manage that. Would I have done things differently? 100% yes.
And here goes Flying Brian.
The decision I made to go to France was one where there was certainly a level of apprehension. I didn't fully understand what I was doing, to be honest, and as much as every rugby player will say there's many reasons why you choose to go overseas, the financial impact is definitely one of the biggest things you consider, or motivating factors. But then not fully understanding what it's like to really upheave your family to something very foreign, not only from a language perspective, a culture perspective, a support perspective from those around you. And it was in arriving there that I was, really came in eyes wide open, because it wasn't quite the smooth transition that I imagined. For me, having a global lifestyle is a massive privilege. I not only business now, but as a professional athlete, understanding how incredible the opportunities are that you get to travel the world, experience different cultures. There were a few things that helped me to manage my money overseas. I think having a bank in France that spoke English made it a lot easier. But I think basic principles of budgeting, basic understanding forecast and expenditure. And when you have a family, your outlook on life changes. So I needed to know that I might stop buying PlayStation and Xboxes and now nappies and wipes and those sort of things. So it's about understanding what your needs are, trying to not overextend, because your professional career is maybe a quarter, if that, of your life. So finance plays a really important part.
Brian Habana, this is South Africa's record.
Coming towards the end of my career and trying to appropriately plan, getting to do a business unit management course through the Toulouse Business School, learning principles around law application, accounting, business management strategies, allowed me to understand a little bit of strategy, a little bit of conscious entrepreneurial building. But it's not until you get into the real world and you need to then start applying some of these principles that you fully understand. So, partnering up with a couple of school friends to launch a digital sports marketing agency called Retroactive, and then launching a fintech company called PayMeNow, and seeing growth going from 4 guys in a 20 square meter office to 23 full-time staff, getting profitable, but also having a product that is really giving people dignity back in a space where you lend your brand to that is really cool. So you try. Will I say I'm the best at it? I've been very fortunate working with some massive brands like HSBC. I do literally count my blessings every time I go to bed at night, because I understand how privileged I am. HSBC has been incredible, being able to have the privilege and honor of being on the ambassador role. We really want to try and make it as fun and as engaging as possible. We know finances aren't always the easiest things to talk about. If there's a word of advice that I can try give to any professional athlete, there's to keep your cost of living down to as low a minimum as possible, and not try to keep up with the Joneses, not try to buy the best car or the best house or the best this. And the longer you can keep your cost of living down, and the more you can actually put money away and save, the compounding effect that has long term makes a massive difference.